the things that we're not passionate about, I think we depend on our friends and family and our social networks for those things. And so that leads us to our next story about Facebook. Instant Articles, the experiment that Facebook started last year, will open to all starting April 12th. Instant Articles started with big publishers as a way to have their articles load faster in that narrow window that is our attention span. So they thought people were clicking on articles. It took too long to load, so they'd go find something else, which is probably true. Now, starting April 12th, everyone with a web page to link to will have this capability. So other websites, other publishers, if you have a blog, you can all be part of Instant Articles, which I guess is maybe the new Yahoo.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, they say, and Facebook does say publishers of, quote, all sizes, which could, mean a person with like a Medium or a Tumblr blog. Although it sounds like Facebook is kind of not necessarily coming all out and saying that. They're really kind of keeping it focused on publisher and not individual. But it doesn't seem like it's outside of the stretch of ability. So.
As a publisher, Jason, does this excite you to be on Facebook? Instant Articles?
Well, it benefits Facebook a lot because what they're trying to do is make it easy for you to stay in the Facebook app and read articles from elsewhere. And they sort of have their own little markup language variation on HTML, and it renders in the browser. And it's a little like Flipboard. It's a little like Apple News. Google also has an initiative to do fast page loading in the browser. So, it's good for Facebook. I always look at stuff like this because Facebook has an incredible amount of power because of its traffic. And the question is, can I benefit from being inside Facebook? Is that money that is going to Facebook, attention that's going to Facebook, or is it something that benefits me and my business and the stuff that I do? And I think that's always the question because, Facebook's providing the platform here. But it's an interesting idea that people love using Facebook, and their view into the internet is Facebook in the same way that maybe people's view into the internet used to be America Online back in the 90s. Then this is a way for you to be in Facebook instead of opening a web browser or switching out into a web view of your article. And if that makes people like happier and more likely to click on your content, it's potentially a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah. One fear that publishers seem to have about this is that it makes clicking into a particular article easier, let's say, faster. And that's part of the reason that Instant Articles is what it is, to kind of speed up your experience inside Facebook and, of course, give Facebook more access to the things that you're publishing. But it might actually not in the long run increase any, your let's say your readership on your site because there's no click through beyond that, right?
It's like the Roach Motel.
It's kind of like you're inviting them into your story within the Facebook walls, but that's not the same as inviting them into your story on your site where then they kind of click around and find their way around other, stuff that you're publishing elsewhere. So who knows, how valuable that's going to be.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does feel a little bit like the Roach Motel. You remember those commercials? Roaches go in, but they don't come out kind of thing? Like you don't, or like the mall. Like that's how the mall is set up, like to just confuse you, and you get in there and you can't figure out how you get out. So you just buy more stuff. I mean, that's what it feels like. And it's interesting today seeing Tim Cook come out and, really say like, hey, look at our civil liberties. Everyone wake up and look at this. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg is coming out and saying, let's create more of this walled garden, which is beneficial to publishers. Yes, you'll get more eyes on your words, and that's awesome. But, it's still this garden that he's creating to keep people in and out of the rest of the world. So, or the internet, which to some is the world. Sometimes it feels like the world.
Feels like the world to me.
And you mentioned Google's AMP project, which is, coming soon too. And they're not really competitors either. Publishers can use both and will and should.
Yep.
Yeah, in fact, publishers are going to end up, one of the problems is that there's no standard here. And so publishers are going to end up having to build a Facebook Instant Articles template, and they're going to do an AMP template, and they're probably going to do an Apple News template, and who knows what else. And it's just kind of a pain in terms of the development aspect of it. But all of these vendors feel like they want to do their own thing a little bit and kind of move away from the standard. And the web is always there in the background, but all of them want to do something that's sort of web plus, and they're not working together on that.
Right.